So you can probably tell from all these awkwardly placed things here in the background, I currently have the mentality of a 14-year-old boy. So how is talking about a re-edited superhero film from 2017 going to help you in sales, business, life overall? Keep watching to find out more. What's going on, guys? It's Fairhead from Sales Unveiled, helping slash through all the misconceptions around sales and side hustles like Doomsday did to Superman's chest too soon, and giving you some practical advice you can use in your day-to-day lives. So guys, in the video today, we're going to do something a little bit different that I know you're going to enjoy. A lot of us read loads of fantastic sales books, attend loads of great webinars, and even pay for expensive courses to help us become better salespeople. That being said, there is something to be said to take a step outside of our sales environment and our entrepreneurship environment every now and then and learn something from pop culture. With Zack Snyder's Justice League releasing soon then, and the film going through significant changes in the post-production process all the way to being released in about a month or so, I thought it'd be a fantastic opportunity for us to learn a little bit more about that process and how we could take some of those transferable skills to our day-to-day roles. That and me doing anything for subscribers, of course. So let's jump in the top 5 ways the Snyder-Cut can help us as salespeople. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering what the heck the Snyder-Cut actually is. So to give you a very brief synopsis of it, back in 2015 or 2016, on the success of Batman vs Superman, Zack Snyder was hired to helm the Justice League film, but in March of 2017 he unfortunately had to leave the project. Warner Brothers then hired another director, Joss Whedon, to finish the project, but he ended up reshooting about 70 to 80% of the film. The film wasn't given enough time to reshoot for the post-production process, all those good things, and unfortunately was seen as a disappointment by fans like us, as well as the general movie-going public. Since then, there's been a movement, a groundswell by fans to actually get this new film, original director Zack Snyder, his film version released. And in March of this year, the fans finally got their wish with the film finally being released. So as you can imagine, there's been a lot of bad business decisions that have gone into the process of why the first film wasn't successful. So what we're going to do today with the 5 points is take any of the things that can be transferable and bring them over to our day-to-day roles in sales. After all, what better way to learn than the mistakes of a multi-billion-dollar organization like Warner Brothers? Point 1, appearance matters. So one of the biggest difference between the Snyder-Cut and the original Joss Whedon version in 2007 is the appearance of Superman. He's gone from looking like a melted waxwork to an actual superhero. Now, I know this is rich coming from someone who looks like this and has this on their face at the moment. Pandemic life has definitely been hard for me. But as a salesperson, your appearance matters. There's a study that shows that people make a first impression of you within the first 10 to 15 seconds. So as salespeople, we want to make sure that when we are meeting prospects, maybe you're an account executive and you're meeting people there face to face, that you make the best appearance possible. Please avoid any CGI mustaches. Now, if you're a guy watching this video and you're unsure of what the best facial hair types are for you working in a sales environment, I've linked to it somewhere here. Please do be kind though, because that was the first video uploaded on this channel and I definitely cringe every time I watch it. Point 2, have each meeting be stronger than the last. So I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack off this off the DC fanboys, but unfortunately the DC universe so far, the movies since the Nolan movies, have definitely been a mixed bag, and the Snyder movies are exactly the same in my opinion, with each movie getting worse than the one that preceded it, in my humble opinion, of course. The reason, each movie feels like it isn't really a part of the movie that came before it, and there seems like there was no overarching story or structure. So how is that important for us salespeople? Simply put, as salespeople, we don't want to have excess meetings in there, and we want to make sure that each individual meeting that we set up with a prospect actually pushes them forward in their own story and their own sales cycle. So for example, if we're having 6 or 7 meetings that are covering the same topics again and again, maybe a couple new people join and maybe a couple of people don't in these individual meetings, then we're clearly doing something wrong. The best way to overcome this is by having a clear set structure and agenda for each meeting going in, so your prospect knows exactly what's expected of them, and ensuring that you end each individual meeting with a clear call to action for next steps. Sometimes these next steps can even be a no, and it's perfectly fine to get a no as a salesperson, so long as we know that we're not wasting our time, and most importantly, we're not wasting our prospects' time, like the theatrical version of Batman vs Superman. Point 3, don't change targets halfway through. So to give you a bit of background, back in 2017 when the original Justice League film was coming out, despite Zack Snyder walking away from the project, a lot of the studio executives were still hammering home the fact that the film should be released in November in the same year. Anyone who knows anything about films knows that the post-production process on these massive movies takes months, if not years sometimes. So having to cram a bunch of reshoots and basically making the film all over again from scratch definitely moved the goalpost for the director Joss Whedon when he had to do that. Instead of pushing the film back a year or so, then the movie then was set up with unrealistic expectations that it needed to hit. So this is transferable to working in sales, because as sales managers, it's very easy for us to set very unrealistic expectations for our teams. I know a couple of years ago when I was actually managing a small sales team, one of the major problems that I was actually doing was pushing them further and further to set unrealistic expectations without providing the adequate training or support that my team really needed of me in order to sort of achieve. The best thing to do then is work quite closely with your sales team to really understand what they're capable of, have gradual growth, and set realistic expectations as you go along. Now, this point is also really useful if you work in sales and you're dealing with a prospect and you decide to switch reps or switch consultants halfway through. I know in some situations, unfortunately, we can't help it if people go on maternity leave or if people sort of switch roles or any of those kinds of things. Then obviously the account executives have to sort of be switched over, or the reps have to be switched over. But if you're a sales rep and you're targeting the same 200 to 300 organizations, it's likely you would have built up a strong relationship with some of those people. So ensuring that you're not switching out between reps, or reps aren't targeting the same types of organizations at the same time and just different prospects, will definitely make the sales process a lot easier for you. Point 4, get your sales team singing from the same hymn sheet. So despite Zack Snyder's Justice League film not coming out for another month or so, all great superhero films have that moment when all the superheroes put their differences aside and come together as a team to fight the forces of evil. Now, whilst fighting the forces of evil is a little bit above salespeople's pay grades, we can take a major learning, which is to ensure that all your salespeople are supporting one another. We all know salespeople have egos, this guy included, but if your sales team is overly competitive to the point where they're actually distracting each other and really unhappy when the other person wins, then you need to kind of nip that stuff in the bud. A good sales team is an efficient sales team. I like to call these people sales vultures, only in it for themselves and not willing to help the rest of the team. So cut your losses, get them out of the team, and watch the rest of your team thrive. Point 5, keep your meetings short. So Zack Snyder's Justice League, when it's released, is estimated to be a whopping 4 hours long. That's going to be a lot of numbums. Now, whilst that's going to be a lot of fun for us people who love superhero films, unfortunately, we shouldn't do the same thing for our prospects. There's been recent studies actually that shows that people's concentration levels begins to dip after sort of the 10 to 15 minute mark. So you want to make sure that all of your meetings are short, to the point, and have clear next steps set up. One of the things that I love to do then when I was an account executive was actually record myself pitching to myself, and then when I would watch myself back, I would actually notice when I would start to doze off and then tweak my pitch accordingly. So there we have it, guys. 5 quick tips that you can take from the Justice League movie coming out to help support your sales and your entrepreneurial goals here as well. If you like content like this, I've got another sneaky one planned over the next couple of weeks that I think you guys are going to love. But as always, please do leave a comment down below. Let me know which of the Justice League members you think would make the best type of salesperson. Like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell notification to make sure you're aware of all the new video releases coming out soon. That's all for now. Have a good one. Bye.